Hey guys, thanks for joining me. So today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit more about my well-being coaching work. So I am a yoga meditation teacher, but I also do what I call well-being coaching. So quick background on how this came about. So I am in Australia and I didn't at that time come across anything around well-being coaching. So I'm basically created a role myself. There was a video I watched about somewhere in America where this lady was a wellness coach, and I thought about that, and this is, getting an idea from the title of that. Now, I may have talked about it in other videos, and I probably will talk about it in other videos. How did I get to that point of becoming a well-being coach? So there's another video I'm going to create on trust your journey. So I will talk more about my journey so far. But for today, how did well-being coaching came around and what is it? So that if you're interested, you can get in touch with me regarding that. So I was working in the IT, in the banking, as an analyst from, I don't know, 20 years or so. Then, I decided to do a career change, completely different, into yoga meditation teaching. Okay, so I became a yoga meditation teacher. So I took 6 months off that corporate work, and then I got trained. So I'm going to do a separate video on changing career, because a few people want to know how did I manage to do that. Okay, so this is going to be a video on that part of my life, how I transitioned from a corporate technical role to something on the completely different. How did I do that? So I'll talk about that in that video. So I left the corporate job, became a yoga meditation teacher, and then I had my baby. Then I was thinking about going back to the bank, to that technical role, pretty much because of the money. Okay, because it's very high paying job compared to yoga meditation teaching. Now, it was all about savings for me for a very long time, like save, 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 save. There will be another video on that. But for today, wanted to go back. Pretty much was going for an interview for a role, a technical analyst role, high paying, all the rest of it. That's when I got diagnosed. Okay, I diagnosed the hardest time of my life. I got diagnosed with one of the most rare, deadliest illnesses in the world, a type of cancer. Okay, so change my world. I had to then go into urgent surgery, get the lump taken out. Huge tough time for my body, for my mind, for my mental health, emotional health, life. I never saw it coming. Okay, I never saw it coming because I really looked after myself. I was a gym fitness freak, so I was very fit. I left the stressful job of the corporate job to become a yoga meditation teacher, right? To look after my health, because I knew that's the right space if I want to really take care of myself. I did the right thing. I got out of the stressful job, okay, where there's a high pressure, okay, very high. It was a lot of anxiety and restlessness. So anyway, I did the right thing. So here I am thinking, I did the right thing. I took a massive pay cut, became a yoga meditation teacher. I didn't eat junk food, to a balance. I, was pretty okay with diet. And then that happened. And I was like, what the F? What the F? I know so many people that are just not doing the right thing for their health, and they don't get, they're okay. So there's a lot of stuff that went in my head, and I just really had to accept it. Okay, so anyway, I won't take too much of my time. One day I can talk more about it, but got the surgery, decided, okay, I'm gonna do my thing, whatever I've learned, and you know, focused on yoga, meditation, focused on my healing, healing myself. You know, I'm more inclined to the natural side of things. So if I like me just, you know, eat the right food, you know, better, even better food, and naturally try to heal myself. For 2 years, I was fine. I was really good. And then unfortunately, so anyway, so between that time, that's the important bit. I struggled because I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see a naturopath. I'm gonna see a nutritionist, and I'm gonna see any of these natural healers and all that to see if I can just heal myself without having to go through more serious like chemo, etc. You know. And after the surgery, I was okay. There was nothing else, so there was not really a need to do chemo at that time. Anyway, there's more to it than that. Okay, so getting back to me just desperately trying to heal myself by going to, you know, even acupuncture and all that. And I struggled. And also like, what's on the internet about this illness? Like how can I got contradictory, and I mentioned it in another video, contradictory. So the Ayurvedic Indian advice is totally different to the Western world of what they're saying, which is again contradicting to the Eastern. And I'm just like doing my head in, and I'm just like, this is freaking life and death, you know, illness. I need to get this right. Like I can't just, you know, it's anything else, it's okay. But when we're talking about life and death situation, it's there's a lot more pressure. Okay, so went to a you know, for example, went to a naturopath, and she was, you know, giving me this product, that product, that product. She'd ordered, and I'm like, I want to get my blood tested. So she ordered like a list of all sorts of bloods, hair sample to see if I've got any heavy metals, etc. And but she gave me these products, and the next thing I know, I've got like $100 invoice, right? Before she looked at the bloods, and I'm just like, but you know, I was just so stressed out at the time. You know, you can't think straight. So I come home and I'm like, oh my God, I've got all these products, but she hasn't even done. Now, how does she know I need magnesium? I mean, I said I've got, you know, cramping and stuff, so she gave me magnesium. But it was like, you know, you don't know whether magnesium is low. How do you know something else is not causing the cramping? So I thought about it, and I'm like, this is bullshit. You know, this is just, and I had a number of experiences where it's like, it's about making money. It was about business. It was about repeat sales, wanting you to come back. So I remember like lying down with the acupuncture, and I think they said something on like, you got to come back for 10 visits. And then I was in a room, and then I overheard, I don't know, I don't remember what, the same guy or another guy, this lady was complaining of some pain, and she's like, and the acupuncturist was like, you need to come back for 10 sessions. And I'm like, freaking hell, man, this is a quote they say to all the patients, regardless of what the issue is. So I was having these experiences with different, you know, natural, different healing, different businesses, where it was more about, you know, getting the business and money rather than genuine trust, like genuine, sincere, I want to help you kind of thing. And also I didn't find them so competent. Like they knew their stuff, they knew what they're doing, and it was about helping you. So you know, when you go to the doctors, they're gonna, you know, give you Panadol or whatever the case is. Like they're gonna give you the medication, right? How often do they ask you, what are you eating? Did you sleep right? What have you changed so far? Are you stressed? Have you been emotional? What's going on? The overall, they don't talk about that, right? They've got this specific thing. When you go to the naturopath, it is just about, like, for example, supplements and diet, right? It's not, they don't look at the other other sides of it. So there's different medians, but they have the focus here, right? So I found myself feeling like, is there someone I can go to that can give me like a holistic, like that's going to say what food, you know, what diet, what exercise, what stress are you going through, you know, what's your, you know, routine like, you know, have you been emotionally, what's happening emotionally, you know, what about spiritual, like, you know, what do you have faith? Do you feel confident? You know, like a holistic. Have you been, social? Have you been keeping up with friends, or are you isolated? You know, so I saw there was no one there, right? And that's when I started to just do my own research. I decided to, read books. For example, there was a book on case study of people that have overcome cancer. So there's some really, really good information there, right? So reading books like that, what has helped people? It doesn't have to be that disease. It could be any disease or anything. I started looking at people that survived huge things in life, and I'm going to talk about this book by Viktor Frankl. I'm going to talk about that in another video. So reading books like that. And then I started to watch, for example, TED Talks, people talking about brain research, experts, and people that have overcome a lot of really, really, really impossible things. So there's a lot on TED Talks that I've learned that it resonated with me. And, real life case studies. So I started to just get into learning and just experimenting myself, what works for me, what not. So I learned, and I found myself like understanding things a lot more. It's like I was, growing wiser just about life. I even, started to observe nature, what's happening, and I'm going to do more videos on this. And it's so interesting how nature works, right? And I started to learn from nature. I started to look at ancient wisdom like Buddhism, Hinduism. What wisdom can we take from that and apply it now to the modern life, to the modern world, to heal ourselves, to be in a good space? Like, there's profound wisdom there. And then I started to see that how science is now backing the ancient wisdom and studying and measuring how that works. And that was my own experience. I was living, breathing example of that. So I was going really good. And then I started to, talk about it in my classes, and people are just like, oh my God, I just don't, I want to listen to you. I found when I was like getting scans done, for example, one day a radiologist, she goes, I want to leave the room, but I can't because I just want to listen to you. And so I was like, and I'm just like at the park, and strangers are, one thing led to another. We were just chatting, and the strangers are like, can you tell me this? Can you please tell me how to do this, how to, health and wellness related. And, getting my number, I want to really, I've been I met this guy later on. I met him once. And then second time I bumped, he's like, I've been telling my wife about you. Can you give me your number? I want to talk to you more about this, how I can get healthier. So these crazy stories was happening around me everywhere I went. People want to listen. People want to, pick my brains, and so all of these together, having a gap, which I didn't have, that support that I didn't have, that person that could give me like an overall look at me as a whole, not just what I eat and exercise or medication. So I'm like, okay, well-being coaching. So I started to talk a lot during my classes, which is yoga meditation, but I'm like, no, this is not in that space. This is something of its own. So I thought this has got to have its own space. So I started to call it well-being coaching, which I look at the physical health, the mental health, the emotional health, spiritual health, socially. So there's a list of questions I started to make and sit down with clients and talk about everything, right? And if it's these mental health issues, then it's like, okay, you need to see a psychologist or proper counseling. So I am not the mental health expert, but I guide. Okay, if I see something around another issue, I would guide them towards the right. So for example, someone was asking me diabetes advice, like this random stranger. And I'm like, look, I'm not an expert. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a doctor. Yes, I have people in my family that have diabetes, but I can just tell you, so do see a dietitian that specializes in diabetes. You'll get the right guidance there. But what I can tell you is, common sense, logical things like, cut the white stuff, cut the white sugar, cut the white flour, I'm gonna do some food videos, food advice videos, and it's very general because, like I said, I'm not an expert on, I'm not a dietitian, but there is general things to do with food, which I talk about in the coaching as well. So I look at it the holistic. So I do a one-on-one coaching, okay, where I sit down with the person. Because of COVID, we're not doing physical meetings, but I am available online through Zoom to have sessions. So if you're watching this and you feel like this is something that could help you, or even if you just want to try it out, please get in touch. Get in touch with me, leave a comment, and I will get back to you and see if we can set up an online session. So that's my well-being coaching work. I look at what you're eating, what you're doing, what you're sleeping, what you're thinking, faith, do you have any faith? Do you believe in yourself, your self-esteem? Socially, how social are you? Hobbies, what are you doing for hobbies? What's your lifestyle? So I look at everything, okay? So anyway, so getting back to, yeah, so that was all happening. And then I got reoccurrence of the illness, and it was just like 10 steps. I'm like, here I am on the right. It felt right. I was doing so well, and I was getting business cards together, getting my website together, and I'm back. I felt like I was back to square one, back to hospital, even more serious this time. So I just, it was really, really hard, and it's still hard. It's still hard. I'm still having treatment. I'm still in the midst of it. But I thought I knew it. I thought I learned it. I thought I knew enough to help people, until I went through that suffering the second time in the mind. It was so stressful. The kind of thing the doctor said to me, it'll break you. It'll kill you right on the spot from stress alone. Okay, so it's been so much suffering that because of that, I felt like there was some level of awakening. Okay, this is similar to what Buddha talks about, but I've experienced it in my life firsthand. So that awakening that I call it, there's so much I've learned from that second time around, which I didn't know at that time. I thought I knew, and I could do the well-being coaching. I knew it all, but there's a lot I've learned since then. And today, as part of this channel, it is using all of that, right, going back to years and years, but specifically in the last year, because there's been so much mental suffering and stress and anxiety. And as a result of that, just evolving, getting into a healthier mindset, because I've realizing certain truths of life. Again, using the wisdom of the ancient, using the wisdom of nature, using the wisdom of books and peoples and case studies. Everything seems to just come together to lead me to this point of doing these videos where I can do well-being. It's about well-being on all levels, and the wisdom that I can share with you on the video, and then separately work with you one-on-one as a well-being coach. Okay, so I don't want to make this video crazy long, as all my videos seem to get. So again, if you find my videos are way too long and you're getting distracted, it's, or boring or whatever it is, leave a comment and, I'll work on it. It's the first time me doing these videos. So it's a learning curve, as everything in life. Okay, things will get better. The videos will get better, with practice. So in order for me to know what I need to improve with these videos, I need your feedback. I need you to let me know. Okay, so what's working for you, what's not working for you. So anyway, that was well-being coaching. That's my well-being coaching work, and how these videos and channels came about, which I'll talk more about. So I hope you found that helpful, and I hope it resonates with you. And I hope I can help you in some ways, either through videos or one-on-one private coaching. Or you can also join my meditation and yoga online sessions as well. And there will be more fitness videos, and I'll talk about it another time why I'm not doing that right now. Okay, so thanks for watching. It's good, really good, that people can join me from around the world. Okay, and I'm able to offer something to many people. Thank you again. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.